Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 4. So in this module, you are finishing the narrative essay. You have the entire week, and that is your main focus, is just to turn whatever you finished from the previous module, the pre-writing, completing sort of an outline of the events, all of that, and then turning that into an actual draft of your essay, proofreading, revising, and then getting a final copy of it ready to turn in to be graded. So that is your primary objective here. You can see that there's a lot of resources in the module as well. So you want to look back over, like double check the criteria. I have a lot of students who I don't think ever look at the assignment. Or they just kind of forget about it. And so they go to turn in their essay, and their essay really hasn't followed the actual criteria that they're supposed to be. And so they end up getting a poor score. It's not because the essay itself is bad or poorly written. It's just that they didn't follow the directions. So that's really a big part of it, is making sure that you have chosen a specific event that had an impact on you, or that it had changed you in some way, and that it is a fairly short event as well. So it needs to be occurring like within one day. Even though you can discuss kind of what came before and after, that's fine. You want to make sure that the bulk of the essay is focused on that one day. And then you also want to make sure that you have some kind of thesis in there, whether it's implied or directly stated. That's kind of up to you. But that thesis is the significance. How did you change from it? Make sure that you're building tension with your narration, that you're describing things vividly. You are telling a story here, and that is one of the main criteria of this assignment, is your ability to tell the story. So you're including people, they may be people you know, but you want to be giving us details about those people as if they were characters in a story, so because we don't know them as the readers. So things like that, making sure that you're writing from that first person perspective, and then double check that page length when you're done. So once you have a good draft going, there's lots of resources in the unit to help you out. I've got some examples in here. There's a bunch of sample essays. Some of them are student essays. One of them is from Patterns. I have a video that you can watch. This is just kind of an overview of things that you might find helpful, sort of guidelines to follow. And so we're trying to include as many resources as possible for you, especially for those of you who get stuck as you write, because a lot of times, you can start strong, you may have a good topic, but if you get that writer's block, it can be really difficult to finish an essay. So we're trying to help out those of you who get stuck. Look back at those resources, right? I've also included MLA sample paper and information for formatting. Many of you have probably used MLA formatting before in high school. Some of you may not have been told that that's what you were doing, which is totally fine. But this is the standard for the majority of college classes. Are going to ask you to either format in MLA or APA. This is MLA. This is the expectation. There's no cover page. Instead, you're going to have a header at the top, and then you do the 1-inch margins with the 12-point Times New Roman font, and then making sure that you are indenting each paragraph, that you have a title on the first page, that you have page numbers on your pages. All of those things are part of the standard MLA format. And then there is a PDF here that just kind of goes over some of that to help you out as reminders. I also have information for accessing the online writing lab. So since we are not doing a peer edit for this essay, that will come later in the class, you are instead encouraged to reach out to other people to get some feedback on your just on your draft, on your ideas, that kind of thing. You can do that in a couple of ways. You can talk to people you know, and that's definitely a possibility. Type up an essay and then have somebody read it over, whether that's a friend or a roommate or your sibling or a parent. All of those are good choices. In general, just having a second reader is a good idea, because anyone, even if they don't have a background in English, can look over a sentence and say, wow, that actually does not make any sense. What were you trying to say there? The second option is to email it to me. It is not cheating to ask me whether or not you're doing something correctly before you turn it in for a grade, so you can definitely do that. And then your third option is to reach out to the actual tutoring services at Allen. So when you want, if you want to do that, I highly recommend it. Over here on the side, you see this BrainFuse online tutoring link that will lead you to this page here, which will look slightly different since you're a student. And then you'll go to where it says Writing Lab, Submit Paper. You can also ask for live help if you are just stuck with something and you have a question. So you click on that, and then if you're submitting a narrative essay, you want to, I would call it a personal narrative. Select that as your type of essay, and then you'll be including the specific like citation format. The instructions would be the actual essay assignment, so you may want to copy and paste that. And then a couple of areas where you feel like you are struggling, you can select those if you want. That way, you know, they're a little bit better about like isolating the things that you know that you have issues with. And then you browse your file, and then at the bottom, hit submit. Now, when you get it back, it's not going to come to your email. It comes instead back into BrainFuse and to your message center. So over here you can see your name and then my message center. So I would say 24 to 48 hours later, go and check this. Now, I'm not sure, this BrainFuse tool uses online tutors, and so I don't know that they are there on the weekend. So I would just anticipate turning it in. You know, if it's due, you want to have it done by Sunday. I would turn in a draft by like Wednesday or Thursday so that they can get it back to you before Friday, before the end of the day on Friday, and then that way you can get it submitted by Sunday. Now, if you're in Iola and on the Iola campus, you can definitely also check out the in-person tutoring services in the library. That's another great option. I don't know what the schedule is just yet, but you can go to the library and see who they have available for tutoring. Somebody just to look over your essay would be a good idea. So once you have that done and you've got everything, you looked over everything, you made sure that you're meeting all the criteria, this is where you'll submit the essay. These are the criteria that I'll be grading your essay on, and so it's always a good idea to look over the grading rubric and make sure that you're scoring kind of in the area that you feel you want the essay to score. So obviously the more points that you get in that category, the higher your grade will be. So just read that over and get that essay submitted. Once you're done with that, then we complete the final step of the writing process, and that is post-writing. So post-writing is where you reflect on what you just did. So we plan, we write, we rewrite, often rewriting multiple times. It's a cycle. Now you want to reflect on it. And the reflection is really to help you think about what are you going to work on for the next essay. So what did you do well, and what are some of the challenges that you have? So you've got three options for doing this. The first option is to do an audio reflection. If you don't want to type anything else, you're tired of writing, then you can, when you go in to do any kind of media, you can upload or you can record some media. And when you hit record, you just have to allow it to use your microphone. I don't know if it'll do it while I'm already recording a video. So recording, you start recording from your webcam, you got your microphone in there, and then you'll upload it when you're done. So we're using the studio capture. You definitely can do that as an option. And you just talk about your essay. Tell me what was the strongest part of your essay and what part was needed the most revision. Read parts of your essay. You know, have your essay open in front of you as you're doing this. And then when you're done with that, you just submit then that audio recording to video recording. Zoom conference, second option. You can either email me or I have a Calendly link that you can go in and just schedule. You know, you pick your day and then you'll see what times I'm available. And then you pick a time and then it just sends it to me. If the times on here don't work for you, you can always send me an email because I only list kind of the basic times when I know I'm going to be home. So I want to make sure that, you know, if you have time outside of that, there's a possibility that I will be able to meet with you anyway. And then we'll just chat about it. Nothing too, There's nothing that you'll turn in at that point. It shouldn't be too strenuous on your part. We'll just chat about your essay and talk about, you know, what did you struggle with, what sort of questions you have, especially about like how are you going to do in the next essay, that kind of thing. So a little conference between us. And then the third option is just a paragraph reflection. And so same thing. What strategies worked? What are you proud of? What were you going to do differently? That kind of thing. And so you're actually writing out the reflection as opposed to talking about it. So those of you who like to talk, definitely these first two options will be good for you. Those of you who prefer to write, do that paragraph reflection. So that's the last assignment. Then you'll do that for every single essay in this class. You will have a reflection, a post-writing reflection when you are done. So that's the module. If you have any questions, send me an email. Otherwise, have a great week.